Hello, everybody. It's Ryan,
And that,
and here we're today talking about the 2019 movie Dark Waters. So it's a movie about I guess he's an environmental. I don't think he's an environmental lawyer. I think he's actually a lawyer for big firms who
for the
decides to
chemicals, yeah.
for chemicals. He's actually he's a not a good lawyer, not a bad lawyer, but he discovers that there's a big chemical. What were they? They're a chemical manufacturer that might be very similar to Erin Brockovich, I suppose you could say. That there's a big
Yeah.
business possibly dumping chemicals into water. So that's pretty much the gist of it, I think.
Yep, definitely. And it's about the trial that is taking years and years and years
Yep.
to actually be recognized first that is a problem, but then getting anything to the plaintiffs. Right. What should we start
Okay.
with?
We'll start with the direction. So it's directed by Todd Haynes, I think his name is, director
Yep.
of Joker. I found there was a few similar kind of themes that happened in this movie that did in Joker as well. Namely color, the color palettes. Although I don't think it worked very well here. It was lots of blues and yellows and greens, but it didn't really help the fact that this movie was set in 1998 was the beginning of it, rather than Joker set in the early 80s. So, I was almost an adult in 1998, so I don't remember there being lots of yellows and that kind of colors and that kind of era. It's a little bit outdated for my liking. What did you think of that?
It's it's that I understand the choices. I really like the director. If I chose this movie for us to watch and review, it's because of him, because I really like Joker. And I watch May, December, his last one with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore. And I really liked it. I really like what he does. And when I saw that he did Dark Waters, I was like, okay, I'm interested. And yes, he has this very gritty approach to like the scenery and the color palette that he's using. To be fair, I thought it was a hard movie to see through. It was a hard movie to watch because it's quite depressing. Not only the subject matter is depressing, but the use of those colors are also very depressing. It's not bright. Everything is dark, and it's like through sort of greenish dark filters, and it's very depressing. I think it's made to really get it has a bit of a nihilistic approach, I think, the movie, because the trial takes so long, and it takes so long for Dupont to admit that they are making a mistake, and then to actually get anything to those people that they are making sick, to the point that a lot of them die during the process um of of the court drama, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I think this is made to go with that. Plus, it's set in West Virginia, which is not the sexiest state in the US. I think that's the theme, but it makes it very hard to watch and think that this is visually pleasing.
Yeah, there was no reprieve from any of that, the heaviness of the movie. It was a very heavy movie to sit through, and unless you're going in invested into, you're not going to get, unless that last kind of couple of minutes where you find out the outcome of the trial. Yeah, you're not getting much reprieve from just the drama and the dialogue and the conversations between the the, the characters, and it's just, yeah, it's a hard movie to get through.
Yeah.
All right, so in terms of the cast, we've got quite a few main characters. We've got Mark Ruffalo plays the lead character. I didn't dislike him. I don't dislike Mark Ruffalo as an actor. I think he's a pretty good actor, but this,
Pretty solid, yeah.
yeah, it there was nothing inherently bad about his performance. He did fine. It's just there was nothing that just really, wow, that was such a great performance. It was just he just was. if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. I agree. It's I don't know how the real person that he's playing was in real life. I think he might have tried to emulate this guy because he appears heavier. He's a bit sort of slow in the way that he's moving. The expressions are not necessarily what the natural expression of Mark Ruffalo. Um, but yeah, he comes across as a bit mundane. Like there is nothing that is super exciting about this character. He's just a guy, and he's a lawyer, and he's trying to do the right thing, and it's kind of like consuming him as well. But that's also not too heavy on the drama. You don't fully like empathize with him, if that makes sense. So I think
Yep.
this is how it's written. Uh, yeah, and I think you pointed it out. I think the movie really pale comparison to Erin Brockovich, which has it's basically the same story. And the worst part is that those are two different true stories. So I think
Yep.
that says a lot about the state of our world. But
Yeah. And it's even what's
yeah,
incredible about it is obviously this movie's set over, I think it's 7 or 8 years. So Erin Brockovich was released in 2001. So when Erin Brockovich was released, like that, the, this company DuPont would have seen Erin Brockovich and gone, "Are we doing the bad thing by all of our clients? We are. Let's not do that." But it still was happening even after a movie like that got released. It just, wow. But I was, when I was writing my notes, I was like, that's no, how did that happen? It just, that's a bit incredible for me.
it is.
Uh, uh,
Um,
all right, this is where we both kind of agreed on with this one was Anne Hathaway. Previously, who we both kind of mentioned that we both quite like her in other movies. But this one, she just, again, she was just there. I
yeah,
thought that there was that fight scene towards the end of the film, which wasn't, I quite enjoyed that part, but I thought she was completely underused until that point.
she's completely underused, and I mean, she's on the movie poster. I thought that she was the main character. Actually, if anything, I was surprised that Mark Ruffalo was in there and
Yep.
he was the main character. I thought it was her. I thought she was the lawyer. I thought she was gonna get involved, but she's not. And it's a shame. She's underutilized in there as an actress. But I also don't think the writing of the character is very good. I didn't understand her character at all because she keeps on flip-flopping between her motivation. At the beginning, she gets upset at him because a client DuPont is a client of the firm that he's working for, and he goes against that client to defend the farmer.
Yep.
She is upset at him because it is threatening their lifestyle, because he might lose his job, might get in trouble, etc., etc. Fair enough. Bit selfish, but fair enough. I understand this motivation. But then she's supportive of him. And then there is this big scene in the kitchen where they are fighting because he's taking pay cut after pay cut to continue to plead, and she's looking after the money and the kids' school, and she has a big go at him, say, "You're never here. Why do you worry all of a sudden?" Blah blah blah. And 5 minutes later, literally, he has a seizure, and she's in the hospital, and she has to go at his boss about he's doing the right things. Like, then which is it? You can't just change your mind so rapidly. What's happening? For me, it
Yep.
was not good writing.
No, that's right. And the big one for me was the character of Tennant. Um, he comes in, and it's almost as if he was written as special needs. Is he slow? But I actually did a bit of a YouTube on the real guy, and he's actually so articulate in the way, like in his YouTube clips, because obviously this is based on a true story. Once again, like those YouTube clips that really do exist there. He actually sounds quite smart, quite educated. So I don't know why they've written him. Was this just poor acting by the actor who did it? Was it just bad directions from the director? Bad notes? Bad? Yeah, I really, I really didn't like that. It bothered me a lot.
Mhm.
Obviously, yeah. So what else are we? We've already talked about how the similarities to Erin Brockovich. Is there anything else that you can really think of that you'd like to bring up?
No, but I think this one is
I think,
worth to go a bit more into. I really like Erin Brockovich. I think it's a
yep,
very almost perfect movie. It's one of
yeah,
Soderbergh's best work. It's very understandable why Julia Roberts got an Oscar for it.
yep,
She's amazing. I think this is one of the strongest roles, the
yep,
strongest performances from her career, and it takes a similar story, but the way it is paced, it is a much brighter movie as well. It's like it's
yep,
almost oversaturated, which is very Soderbergh as well.
yeah, um,
Very big contrast from that, and
yeah.
I don't know. It's really
He does his directorial styles. I really like the way he does his cuts because he'll do uh like a cut from here, this angle, this angle, this angle. So I really like the way he does his cuts in that, and that's one of the things I really liked about Erin
yeah.
Brockovich. So
Exactly.
yeah,
The editing is really on point too. You're still doing legal drama and a very heavy story, but there is a bit of lightness in that.
yeah,
I think I've seen the movie 5 times at
yeah,
least, and it's not something where it's like, wow, this is an important movie, but that was hard to get through.
yeah,
It's like, no, it's an important movie, but it's upbeat as well. There is
yeah,
some very funny bit. You have
yeah,
a main character that is so engaging in all her ways, even if it's
yeah,
over the top or anything. But she's just so good, and
yeah,
the supporting characters as
yeah,
well, the lawyers, the boyfriend, they're all very well
yeah,
written, very believable, very
yeah,
likable. Not perfect, but
yeah.
very likable.
And when she goes off and she gives the news to not Catherine Rillo's, what's her name, Mark Helgenberger, and when she
Yeah,
goes and says they're giving you $5 million, there's that moment where you're just like, oh, you get your little
it
tingles on the back of the neck with that, but I got nothing with this. Just
exactly. The emotional payoff in Erin Brockovich is there. This one, it's almost like I need a cold shower. I get it.
yeah,
Eventually they stop, using Teflon or the C8, whatever it was, and they would take care medically of those people, but it doesn't feel good. And maybe I think this is the intent of the movie, but it is just
yeah,
something that is very heavy to carry.
yeah, yeah. It was a yeah, definitely a struggle to get through for me, and I think my score is going to reflect that.
All right, what's your score?
I'm tossing up between a 2.5 and a 3. I want to see where your thoughts are first. Yeah, look,
All right.
I'll go between 2.5 and 3. What's yours?
I will give it a 3.
Okay,
It is not a bad movie. It is not a movie that I think I will watch again. I'm
no,
happy I did. It's important. It's very heavy, but I think it's also intentional. So
yeah,
that's why I would put it on the side of it's good.
yeah, I'll go 3 as well. I think that's a fair score.
Cool.
Well, we talked more about Erin Brockovich than we do Dark Corners in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, because it's deserved. You know what?
It is. And if I could just do a sneaky shout out, I did just renew it on my own website. So ryansmoviereviews.com.
Yeah, have a look this way.
I don't know where it'll be. All right, until next time, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you with our next movie.
The next time.